All right, hey guys, Jason here. And what we're going to talk about today is how to make your truck, any truck you own, better off-road. One simple thing does it. One thing more important than everything else that you could possibly do to make your truck more capable off-road and keep you from getting stuck. Okay, it's one of the biggest things that people don't seem to understand, and yet it's the thing that we need the most. Everybody chases approach angles and departure angles and lift kits and lockers, and all those things are great, don't get me wrong. Okay, but this thing here has been through a lot. I've been stuck quite a few times where I've been able to get out, but been there, and I can tell you firsthand what is the most important thing that I wish I had that I do not. I am lacking something here. I have the front lockers, I have the rear lockers, I have the ground clearance, I have the 35s, I have the approach angle, I got everything I need, but I am missing something. Something is not there that is very, very vital. You can see even all the crap I get into yesterday, I was in so bad in the mud and crap like that, that it was even coming up through my tailgate, even my hitch. I had to knock all that mud. Look at all that crap caked in there from me trying to rock it back and forth to get out of a hole, having to fight my way out of a hole. It was even coming up through my tailgate. Look at all this flow over coming up through my tailgate out of the inside of the truck. That's how bad sunk in this was in the mud and water. Okay, that's what happens. It's part of being out here in the woods. You're gonna hit a hole sometimes. It's just too much, too deep, too miserable, and that's what I did. It was nasty, it was mean, and there's only one thing that kept me from getting out of it easy. I was able to get out of it, but it took me a solid 15 minutes of working back and forth and working back and forth and working back and forth. And one time when I first hit the hole, okay, see, we got these roads like this out here. Okay, these roads that are gated roads that we can go in and we can hunt back here, okay, and you can go back into these places. We're on WMAs down here in Georgia. When we go down into these places, they're very tight, they're very narrow, and they're gonna go through a lot of swampy areas. In those swampy areas, hogs will actually root out that area and they'll wallow in there and they'll create these holes that are literally waist deep holes, and they might only be a length or two of my truck long, but they span across the whole road and they're full of water and the mud is like peanut butter, churned up mud in there, and they're literally almost waist deep. You don't know what they're like till you get into them or you got to walk them. Well, I hit one yesterday that, like I said, was pretty nasty. And I mean, I watched that front end drop in, bloop, now it's water on the top, but it gets to mud afterwards. And, but you get into that and then it's one thing, but when I hit it, so I got into it. Once I was in it in 4 high, I got in, I thought I broke my truck. I was like, what the heck? I'm sitting there in 4 high and I got it floored and I'm not moving. The engine's not revving. No RPMs are going up. Wheels are not spinning. Nothing's happening. It's just, brrr. As I got it pushed all the way to the floor, I'm like, oh no, what did we do here? You know what it was? It was caked in mud so bad and stuck in the mud so thick of that peanut butter mud that it basically couldn't even move. The wheels couldn't even move. They wouldn't even spin. So I had to actually put it in 4 low. Once I put it in 4 low, kicked on the lockers, we were able to get, start spinning the wheels and get moving. But I had to claw and climb and mess my way out of there and get out of that stuff. And that super thick, nasty mud, which is why you actually don't see a ton of mud on it. Okay, because it was that nasty, thick mud. And that was yesterday. Since then, I've drove 250 miles back home and coming back out of here. But that mud was so heavy that it becomes a problem. All of these times I've got stuck. And every time I get into situations where I'm in trouble, even with this, with the lockers, there's only one thing I wish I had. One thing I'm begging for that you could put on any truck, easy. That is tires. Okay, tires. That is where I'm lacking. Okay, that is where I'm lacking. And I got Goodyear Toyo Open Country AT3s on this. It's a good all-terrain tire. These tires are the problem. Okay, I'm going to have to probably go to a mud terrain, or even if you go to a hybrid tire, the tires are the problem. Okay, this is where I run into all of my issues. You can see the mud caked in everywhere into this whole thing. Okay, it just jammed in. Look at it all cramped everywhere. And like I said, it wasn't big. It was just a little pothole that just locked me in there. But it happens a lot. Every time I'm struggling or I start getting into sticky situations, my battle is always traction. So how do we solve that? What do? Put on a good set of mud tires, okay? If you want your vehicle, and I don't care if you're not driving in the mud, if you're driving in the rocks, the loose stuff, the shale, I don't care what it is, you're out west, wherever it is, traction Traction is everything. Without it, you have nothing. So my best bet or opinion is that if you got, say you got a Colorado, say you got a Colorado Trail Boss or a Ford Ranger or a Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, you want to make it capable enough to get out here and really do some stuff out here and not get stuck. Two solutions to make sure that you never get stuck with your truck. Okay, one, good tires, mud terrain. If you don't want mud terrain, which I can understand, they can get noisy. They wear down quicker, that kind of stuff. They got a hum to them. I understand that. The new hybrid tires, like from Falken and stuff like that too, they're going to be phenomenal. They're going to be a close right in between and kind of bridge that gap for you. Give you some longer tread life, a little better highway manner. There's a lot of good options out there, but tires. Can't say it enough. They are where the lack of traction is my nemesis out here in the mud and the swamps. I fight not having traction more than I fight anything else. Then when that doesn't work and you get high centered, when you're high centered, you're stuck on the frame. Once you're on the frame and the wheels can't get to the ground and they're just sitting there spinning, no traction in the world matters because you're officially sunk. When that happens, you are in trouble. Okay, when you are high centered, as we called it, or framed out, means that your tires can no longer do their job. Okay, when you lose traction, your tires can no longer do your job. Well, you can fix the traction issue by putting on other tires. It's going to help you tremendously. But when you're on your frame, if those tires cannot bite anything, they cannot get you off there or fix you. When you're in that situation, you're stuck, you're framed out. How do you solve that one? Simply with this right here. This is it. I do not have one mounted on the front, but if you look here, we see my winch in a cradle mount right there. And that red bag on top of it is my connector cords and my remote for that winch. In under 3 minutes, I can pull this lever, roll my tonneau cover up, grab that winch, take that winch and plug it into this rear hitch right here, and then run the wire and drape the wire, let it run right over here. Tonneau cover is back, so I let it run right here. I let the wire come right around here, and then I plug it into my battery connections right there. Okay, with that winch, putting that winch on, a winch will get you out of there. Why is a winch so important? What if you got a buddy? If you're stuck in the mud like I've been stuck in, okay, I'll link it at the end of this. The video I was in where I was stuck in that mud, okay, and I had to winch myself out, a buddy would never have been able to pull you out of that. He couldn't move you from there. There's no possible way. That mess I was in yesterday where I couldn't even get the wheels to turn in four-wheel drive high with that suction of that mud, sucking my wheels and everything so still that they couldn't even spin, the motor couldn't even spin them. A buddy cannot pull you out of that. You cannot get removed from that. The only way out is with a winch. Why? Because a winch is a slow pull. It's a slow, constant pull, which means it gives you time to pull a little bit and then let the suction of that mud break free and then pull it some more. A winch is the only way to get unstuck from bad mud holes. Nobody else can do it. They can't. A vehicle can't pull you because a vehicle can't continue pulling like that like a winch can. So mud tires and a winch in the bed of the truck. Notice I don't have one mounted on the front. Okay, everybody puts them right here, they're on the front. Well, usually when I go into a hole and I go in and boom, my front end drops in and then I'm stuck in there, then I don't want to keep going forward and I don't know what's ahead. And there's blow down trees everywhere. If I was going down this road right here, okay, if I was going to drive down this road and say we just went through a big hole right here and we had no choice but to winch ourselves through it, where am I going to go next? I can't go any further. I don't know what's up ahead. By not knowing what's up ahead, I'd rather get winched out backwards and go the way out that I was rather than continue going forward and getting into more messes. So having the winch on the back to me is a benefit. So I do not have one on the front. But by having that one on the back that I can plug into the hitch and I can hook that into that receiver and drag myself out backwards, works a lot better. So those are my tips for you. If you want to make your vehicle, any truck you have, any SUV, anything that you own, you want to get the maximum amount of traction out of it, put on a good tire. Mud terrain or a hybrid tire or super aggressive all-terrain tire like that is going to be, it's going to be a world of difference. It will take the level of difference is unbelievable. I promise you, this truck right here that I have, this Rubicon with full lockers and everything, with these Toyo open country tires, as half worn as they are right now, this truck right here, I promise you somebody could come out here with a somebody could come out here with a Bronco Sport or a Ford Maverick. Or here's one that'll blow your mind. Here's an even crazier one. Ready? How about a Honda Ridgeline? You could come out here with a Honda Ridgeline with mud tires and they would go farther than I will. Don't believe me? You don't know what you're talking about then. You really don't understand. Because it's got the Honda Ridgeline would do it. Okay, I got a little more ground clearance and some of that stuff, but as far as for getting through the mud and getting traction, he would beat me. Mud tires or good traction is everything. And then when you can't get the traction and you high center out and you're stuck and you're in trouble, get yourself a winch. These do not cost much money this way. If you put a winch on the front, it's a lot of money in bumpers, a lot of money in winches, a lot of money in different springs to carry the extra weight, all that kind of stuff. But putting it back here, that wrench cradle was $79 and that winch was $300. I think maybe $389. But for under $500, I have a full winch setup in here, 13,500 pound. That's an X-Bowl synthetic line winch. I'll link the video at the end, and I can plug that right here in under 2 minutes and hook it up to my battery, and I can get myself out of just about anything I could get into. So winch in mud terrains, they will save your soul out here in the woods. I promise you, they will be an absolute lifesaver. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.